Hello, my friends. Amberlynn just uploaded her 5th episode of the Let's Talk series, and this is the show that is meant to simply give her an opportunity to either play the victim, clap back in some way, or be praised with love and admiration from her adoring fans. She is pretty insufferable in these. And this one is called Reaction Channels Are Lying About This. Of course, she says reaction channels are lying about everything, so. And then it says, finally, a true rumor. And I'm guessing that's something real stupid. So let's just see. If you'd like to like and subscribe, that would literally be hectic. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey guys, welcome to another Let's Talk video. So we're gonna hop right into it with Sweet and Sour. So this is where I take a random comment generator and I go to my last Let's Talk video and I choose random comments with the generator. It's to where I cannot pick and choose what is shown. So the first few comments that I see, those are the ones I screen.
So this is how Amberlynn works when she lies a lot of times, is she is careful with her words. Because technically she can't pick a comment from the random generator, but what she can do is run it over and over and over again until she finds one that she likes and then uses that. And that's exactly what she's doing.
Screenshot, and those are the ones I share, so let's get into it. Marilyn8225 said, who the hell would hire her? She can't stand for 5 minutes. She can hardly walk and can't do anything for 10 minutes straight.
Okay, this is going to be a prime opportunity for her to play the victim. I'm gonna call fat shaming, right? And she's gonna say, my stamina is so good, you guys. I know I gained weight because of my cellulitis, but normally I can totally walk through the grocery store for like 2.5 hours if I want to. But yeah, she's gonna go fat shaming or fat phobia or something because, you know, she's got to play the victim.
It's giving fat phobia for
Hey-o!
sure.
I mean, again, there's no magic here. She is so predictable.
Because I can definitely stand for more than 5 minutes. And yeah, my attention span is pretty rough.
She said her attention span is pretty rough. So that's not what they're talking about. They're not talking about whether or not you can do the job, which you can't because you are lazy and unmotivated and you have too much of an ego to take orders from anybody. The only reason I could not have a job is because my attention span, because I have ADHD also on top of ASMR and OCD and obesity. So it has nothing to do with my weight.
But I have had jobs in the past, even this one, where I'm like, okay, I have to do this for a set amount of time, and that's that. But I have had jobs in the past, even this one, where I'm like, okay, I have to do this for a set amount of time, and that's that.
Do you see what you're doing right now? You're sitting on your ass. That is your job, is to sit and talk about yourself. The fact that she will actually compare this to what people do when they work at, a pharmacy, like pharmacy technicians who are standing there all day, or people that work at Walmart where they are stocking shelves and on their feet and moving around all day. Wow, the delusions are just staggering.
And saying I can hardly walk is also a very silly statement because I do walk. I don't use scooters in the grocery store anymore. Haven't done that in literally years. I walk.
That's a lie.
I don't use scooters in the grocery store anymore. Haven't done that in literally years.
Literally years? When she gets this little attitude, when she says something, that's a tell that she's lying.
I walk Twinkie. I literally just last year was showing myself that I was able to walk over a mile.
She said she walked for a mile and she showed some steps that she had calculated on like a Fitbit or something, or on her phone. But there are a lot of ways to show those steps. And you could probably download a screenshot of somebody's steps. So yeah, she can say this all she wants, but I just don't believe it.
During my little COVID scare, I was like, oh my God, is my stamina going away? But no, it hasn't. Like, I'm literally back to how I was before.
But when you see her walk, it takes so much energy to take one step. She's like, to get those legs going.
Just to answer your fat phobic question, there are jobs where I can sit. I do have experience. Pops Imogacha 3929 said, hey, I'm leaving this comment just to say that you are beautiful and you only deserve love. All the France is supporting you. Thank you so much. That's
gross, man. Especially after Mr. Snowflake's video, the victims of an empath about Beck. I mean, obviously those people who would leave a comment like that are not going to watch Mr. Snowflake's video, but they should.
Genuinely means the world to me. I appreciate it more than you know. Receptorcon11 said, arg, go back to the torrid and grocery hauls. This shit sucks. So in my last weekly vlog, there was a torrid haul. And then in the vlog before that, there was a grocery haul. So I'm definitely trying to do a mixture of everything that people like. And also,
what were they talking about that sucked? I mean, all of her stuff sucks. Everything she does sucks. You know, the torrid halls suck. The grocery halls suck. Everything she does sucks.
Filming things that I enjoy filming. WX1RT said, "Hey, beautiful. Have a good weekend, girl. Love you staying positive and ignoring the hate when others crumble. Would love to kick."
Ignoring the hate, you guys. It's not all she talks about in every single video. It's not the only thing that's ever on her mind besides food. She's ignoring it, you know? That's what she does, is ignore the hate. When others crumble. Crumble cookie? Because, boy, she talked about that a lot too. But these people are clearly living on a different planet, you know? How can they watch her talk about her haters all the time and how much hate she gets, and then think that she's ignoring the hate? And when others crumble is just, I don't know who's crumbling, you know? And I would love to kick it with you. Okay, unless you're going to be a caretaker, that's not going to happen. Or if you go to bingo, I guess. You can go to bingo and be a best friend. Also, it's giving junior high.
Sweet comment. I have been getting a lot of sour lately, so it's been nice to actually see the sweets mixed in there. And yes, I'm trying to stay as positive as possible. I don't want to see anyone crumble. I just want peace on earth. Why is that so hard to ask?
Oh. She's an angel, you guys. She just wants everybody to be happy, and she wants peace on earth. Then shut up.
AFK Jen said, "I find people hating so much just don't have anything going on in their life." I believe that if you're hating as deeply as you do, especially in like such an obsessed, cruel way, you're not happy within yourself. There's something going on in your life.
See, okay, this is what bullies say when somebody calls them out. When a narcissist is narking and somebody calls them out, their response is, you people just don't have a life. You people talking about me, that's all you think about. You're obsessed with me, and you're clearly not happy with yourself. There's no other reason you could be talking about me besides you are just unhappy with your own life. And she's doing that because she cannot admit or even conceive of the idea that they might be right. And by painting them as these people who are less than and worse than her, then obviously they're not right, because the only reason they do it is because they're unhappy. If they were happy, they wouldn't even be talking about me, you guys. But here's the thing. I just enjoy talking about this dipshit. That's like, I started my channel just because I have enjoyed watching reaction channels, and I just like talking about it. And it was fun to have people to talk to about it, because nobody in my real life even knows who she is. So, you know, in my spare time, I talk about her. And I've gotten a lot of really good comments and had a lot of really good conversations in comments. And just, it's been so fun to kind of bounce ideas back and forth with all of you. In fact, talking about her has made me even happier since I started. She doesn't know what happens in our lives because we don't vlog our lives, but she shows her life on camera, and she really can't not talk about whatever's going on. So we can see how miserable she is.
That you're not happy with. Heather L9016 said, "So you're saying Dalton took advantage of you? I thought you said he was a good person." Not once did I ever say that Dalton took advantage of me. I said that I was drunk. Haley B85.
So here's the thing. They didn't have any kind of physical interaction. I don't think you can take advantage of somebody on the phone. You know, phone relations don't count as like relations. You know what I mean? Like, the whole thing with Dalton, in my opinion, is just real stupid. You know, they talked on the phone. They said some pretty nasty stuff, I'm sure. And that was it. They didn't touch ever.
I've said Amber thinks if she never goes to a doctor and gets diagnosed that she doesn't have something unless it fits her narrative.
So I can kind of see what they're saying as far as like diabetes and like high blood pressure and stuff like that. That would be caused by her obesity. I don't think she wants to be diagnosed with anything like that, because she wants to be able to say, I'm obese, but I am healthy, you know? And so I can kind of see that being part of it. But honestly, I think she just doesn't go to the doctor because she's so damn lazy. She just doesn't want to deal with it. It's hard for her to do anything. And she doesn't want to do it unless she absolutely has to, or unless she's going to do something fun, like bingo or out to eat or something like that. And honestly, I think the only reason she goes to bingo is because her mom takes her out to eat. I don't think she would go to bingo at all if a meal wasn't involved, because that's her ride to go eat something. And I mean, I don't think she dislikes bingo, right? I don't think she hates it or anything, but I think if her mom was all of a sudden like, we're going to go out to bingo, but we're not going to go out to eat, I think she would do it a couple times, but then she would stop going because the food is the main driving force for her.
So I do go to a doctor. I think you're referring to the diabetes topic of my last Let's Talk video. Last time I got my labs done was literally just 4 months ago, not even pre-diabetic. Anytime I've ever been diagnosed with anything regarding my health, I have let you guys know. The narrative that I have diabetes is literally just fat phobia. Not every single fat person has diabetes, and not every single person that has diabetes is fat. It's really—
Well, it's not really just about you being fat. We see what you eat, right? And we know you eat worse and more than what you're showing us because you keep gaining weight. Again, victim Lynn, man, it's just fat phobia. You know, thinking that me, a 500-pound, 5'3" person, could have diabetes. You're just fat phobic. If she doesn't have diabetes, she is very lucky. And I don't think she understands how lucky she is to not have diabetes. I mean, I'm not 100% convinced she doesn't, but just assuming that she doesn't, she's far luckier than she knows.
really that simple. All right, you guys, now we're going to go on to sip and community. So this is—
See, every single one of those was either admiration or some way for her to play the victim or clap back. Again, that's all this is for.
where weekly I post a community tab for you guys to ask me questions, talk about concerns, give me topics, whatever it may be. Let's get into it. Why do you always try and fail diets instead of seeking treatment for an eating disorder? So I actually did outpatient a couple years ago, and everything they taught me is very much—
She went to like 1 or 2 appointments. And her takeaway from her 1 or 2 visits was give into your cravings. Because if you don't, then you're just going to binge. You know, you really just have to give into your cravings. But the problem is she didn't stay long enough or listen hard enough, because that on its own is bad advice. But in those counseling sessions, they talk about giving into your cravings, but then they have methods for you to learn how to deal with that and get to the point where you don't have the cravings anymore, or that you can live with them and you don't have to give in. But you can only really do that with the help of professionals, people who know how to guide you through that. But all she took away was give into your cravings. Hell yeah. That's all I needed to know. Thanks, doc. I'll see you again, never. So she didn't do outpatient. She just showed up once or twice and then quit.
much like don't count calories, give into your cravings. And I have talked about that, and it pisses everyone off so bad. But that's how it is with treatments like that. They don't want you to be in this like strict area, because that is literally what triggers someone with issues to just continue down that path.
Again, she missed the point of that, is give into your cravings, but then there's more to it, right? She just stopped there.
Do you ever have glimpses of really understanding how awful you've been to so many people, including yourself? Yes, yes, and yes. Like literally in my last vlog, I talked about the regret that I have being so problematic in my last relationships. Like as time goes on and I have full awareness of why I am the way I am, it makes it easier to manage. That's like the first step that you actually learn in DBT is awareness, because when you're not aware of something, you can't change it. And I think that's why I talk so much now about like, whoa, I've made so many mistakes in the past and like I regret those so much, because back then that was like my normalcy.
So first of all, what she thinks is problematic is probably not what we think is problematic, right? Her idea of the terrible things she's done are not going to match up with everybody else. And even when she's admitting she has done things she regrets, she has an excuse for it. And until she learns that you need to just take accountability, say, I'm sorry, and then stop talking, it's just never going to be real accountability. And she's never going to get to the point where she will treat people correctly, because in her mind, she didn't do anything wrong. It was just she was programmed to do that from her childhood, her horrible childhood, because her mom is so horrible. But again, it's victim Lynn.
I've made so many mistakes in the past and like I regret those so much, because back then that was like my normalcy. I wasn't aware that I had a problem. Why don't you follow the recommended diet for people with lymphedema? It could really help with the swelling you experience. The diet that they want me to follow is keto, which is a high fat, low carb, high protein. And unfortunately, my doctor told me that I can't do that due to my pancreas and gallstone issues that I've had in the past.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack there. Let me start with this. I'm not convinced she has lymphedema, and that's a whole can of worms I'll get into probably in another video. But I've kind of been looking into it, and it seems unlikely that she has lymphedema. Now, she might have lipedema, but I don't think she's been officially diagnosed with either of them, like from a doctor. But just taking her word for it, if you look up the diet for lymphedema, it is low carb, high protein, and fat really doesn't have much to do with it. The only thing I could find that mentioned fat at all, they were talking about anti-inflammatory type foods, which they included fatty fish. That's really it. And you don't have to have that for the lymphedema diet. So think of the logic here, right? She is basically saying, I have this condition and there is a diet that I can participate in that will help with that. But I have this other condition that has a diet that is contrary to the first diet. So I can't eat either one. So what she's saying is there is just no possible way for me to lose weight. No matter what I do, no matter what the doctor tells me, which bullshit, the doctor told her anything. There's no way on earth a doctor told her that she has to eat high fat, low carb, high protein, and you can't do that because of your gallbladder and all that. That's bullshit. So what she does is she finds a loophole, and if she can't find a loophole, she makes one. She just threw in the high fat thing for the lymphedema because that's just not part of it. So Amber, if you can't have that diet and you can't have the other diet and you can't have this, then what are you doing here? Then why are you even trying or thinking you can try to lose weight? You're the one saying you can't take part in any diet. And the kicker is she says, you know, I really can't eat what they recommend. So I'm going to order a 20-piece chicken McNugget from McDonald's. I'm going to order Cheesecake Factory. Now, the funny thing is sushi would probably be pretty good for both, but she gets the fried sushi with all the fat and all the extra crap that she doesn't need. So it's not that she can't have those diets, it's that she doesn't want to. She wants the good stuff, and she will create any loophole she can to continue eating the foods that she likes. So she acts like she has this diet thing under control. She knows exactly what kind of diet she can have, and then she just eats whatever she wants anyway. What a fucking idiot.
You like to tell everyone to move on. So why don't you move on from 30 years ago? It's very hypocritical for you to still use the past to act the way you do, but you want others to move on from what you've done to them.
Okay, so I see what they're saying. They're basically saying, you keep telling people to move on, like Beck, you know, when they came forward and finally started speaking up about the way they were treated by Amber. And she's like, move on, that was a long time ago. But then she uses her childhood and all the traumatic experiences she's had, and she talks about those constantly. I mean, it's her whole personality is what happened to her when she was a child. That and eating.
I've actually expressed publicly. I get why Beck was doing those videos. Like, how you express your hurt and your pain is up to you. When I talk about my past, that was during a time where my brain...
Okay, no. She spent most of her time after Beck came out. Once Beck started talking, Amber at first was like, you know what? I'm just going to ignore it. I'm not going to talk about it because they can express their anger however they want and whatever. But after a couple of videos, Amber started coming out and calling Beck the manipulator.
We have Beck over here just like purposely trying to like make the narrative as like devilish as possible. And I'm just like, Beck is one of the biggest manipulators I have ever in my life known.
And going all in on, no, it wasn't me, it was Beck. Beck was the bad one, and Darvoing all over the place. And if you don't know what Darvo is, just real quick, I'm sure you do by now, but it's deny, attack, and then reverse victim and offender, which means they deny they did anything wrong, like Amber does with everything. They attack, meaning they will come out and say, no, Beck did it, they did it. And then they reverse victim and offender, and that means they play the victim. And Amber did all of that in her apologies and in her responses to Beck and all that. So, yeah, she can sit here and say that Beck can express their anger however they want, but she was on the attack once those videos started coming out.
Body, my soul, my spirit, just me as a person was growing and adapting. What happens to you in your childhood creates who you are as an adult. I rarely talk about the traumatic things that happened to me as a young adult, but I always go back to the things that happened to me in my childhood because those are the reasons why I am in therapy. Those are the reasons why I have BPD. That is why I have anxiety, paranoia, why I reached almost 600 pounds at one point, why I turned to food for emotional reasons, why I'm a food addict. The list can literally go on because of my childhood.
There you go. She just uses it as an excuse. And I, again, am not convinced that it was as traumatic as she says. Because the same person that talks about how horrible it was and all the traumatic things that happened to her also said...
When I said that they would essay me, when I use the A word, assault, I consider harassment as an assault.
So I can't believe anything she says. No, she realized at some point that she could use childhood trauma as a way to get sympathy and attention, and that's what she's done ever since. And then when people finally are like, hey, maybe you should stop using your traumatic experiences as a child as an excuse for everything, she does this and just doubles down and uses it as an excuse for everything. She basically just said, my traumatic childhood is the reason for everything I do. And again, I don't doubt that it was a rough childhood, but I don't think it was nearly as bad as she's making it sound.
If I do not confront those things head on, I will never change.
Yeah, you can confront them on your own. You don't have to talk about it in your videos constantly. She really is convinced that just talking about her childhood and talking about her trauma on the internet is confronting her trauma head on. Like, she thinks YouTube is therapy.
Less talk, more walk. I'm sorry. That genuinely was a good one. That's a good comment.
Why is that not fat phobic?
How come you used to pick from around Christmas, posing it as when you spent time with your family recently? There's a wreath, which is only used during Christmas, on the door, and those hands taking the pic are... Someone replied and said, detective work right here. Ooh.
Okay, so could she be reacting to my video? Because I actually talked about the fact that that's Christmas wreath. And here's the thing, it absolutely is a Christmas wreath. And here's proof. All right, so look, here's the wreath, okay? And the wreath itself is like whatever. But this is a nativity scene. It just is. You can see the little dot on the top, that's the star. And these are the people that are like hovering over the manger. This is a nativity scene. And obviously the nativity scene is generally a Christmas thing. So yeah, I couldn't find that specific wreath, but yeah, when you type in nativity scene wreath, this is what you get, right? It's got the two people at the manger, you got the little star above it. Here's another good example. You got the two people here, you got the star. This one's obviously a darker color one, but you've got, I assume that's Mary and Joseph, right? And then the star. So it is absolutely a nativity scene wreath. It is a Christmas wreath. But remember, Mama Lynn dropped Amber off in Wisconsin in September. She's wanting us to believe that it was in April. So it's weird to have a Christmas wreath on the door in April. It's also weird to have it on the door in September. So either way, a Christmas wreath on the door doesn't make any sense. The whole thing is just a little fishy. Why is she wearing a cheese hat in Oklahoma when she had just been to Wisconsin for 3 months? You know, just a lot of weird stuff.
Ooh, girl, during my tea or tell, I'm going to be talking all about this. All right, you guys, now it's time for the interview. That means you can just go to my Instagram, send me a little microphone emoji, and you can send me a voice.
I'm going to reiterate, when I made those videos about that picture and just the whole weirdness of the cheese hat and all that, it's just for fun, right? I don't care. I don't care if it ends up being true or not. It's just fun to speculate on that stuff. And if it turns out that I was right, then that's even more fun. But for her, it is such a big deal. She can't not talk about it, you know? So either way, I enjoy it because I get to hear her make excuses for it or talk about it. And I also get to speculate and pretend like it's some big deal. You know, I'm doing detective work, so who cares?
Memo so you can interview me with your voice. I have so many voice messages that it's like, jaw is on the floor.
Okay, so I've tried...
She had to throw that in. She wanted to make sure you know. She's got so many people sending her voice messages, and they're all going to be kissing her ass, I'm sure.
like 4 different times to figure out what to say because I'm really nervous.
Aww.
And I have so much I wish I could talk to you about. Just because I feel like we have so much in common. I recently got diagnosed with BPD, which explains a lot now. Growing up fat and like trying to lose weight and being part of the queer community. So, I just wish I could chat with you so bad. But
this person wants to date Amberlynn.
my question is, how did you get comfortable with like sharing your body with your partners? I unfortunately have never had like an official one or anything, couple of situationships, but I'm really interested in a guy. I'm really kind of moving along, and I just have this like fear of being.
This person sounds like they need some help, like, and I'm not saying that to be mean, like they sound like they've really struggled in their life, right? They've got BPD, they relate to Amberlynn, that's a problem. They've never had a real relationship, apparently. So is it really healthy for them to be talking to Amberlynn and acting like Amberlynn is some kind of role model? And this is the problem, right? Is all this bullshit that Amber says and all the nonsense stuff she says about her diet, all the bullshit she says about mental health, all the lies about therapy and the way she handles mental health and the way she blames everything on BPD and everything else. It's influencing people. There are people like this that need real help, that need to actually talk to a professional, but they see Amberlynn just winging it and acting like a total nincompoop, and they think that that's okay. Because like it or not, Amberlynn is an influencer. She influences people.
Being seen in my natural state, even though I am 70 pounds, and counting.
Congrats.
So I just want to know, like, what's some advice you have on loving yourself and being vulnerable in that way?
Oh my gosh, first of all, we seem so similar. I live for that. And congratulations on the 70 pounds down. That is phenomenal. So it took me a long time actually to be comfortable in my own body. And obviously it depended on the partner I was with. I have never been like a confident girly pop in my skin, in my natural state, in my...
So wait, she's not been confident in herself or in her skin?
During that time, we never met in person, so we had to get creative. And in doing so, we found ways to have a sexual relationship long distance, whether that was over the phone or in video or over like video calls, like whatever it may be. I knew that Erica's favorite dessert was a crumble cookie crumble, so I put two and two together just like I did, and I got creative and made a little seductive cookie taste test, if you will. I've seen the cookie crumble cookie video, so it became a meme. It became a thing. So I said, you know what? Loud and proud. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm confident in it.
Okay, I beg to differ there. She really just says whatever comes to her mind and has no thought for what she's said in the past, does she?
My birthday suit, as they call it, I have always been extremely self-conscious. But obviously, if they love you, they're going to find you attractive.
She sent videos and pictures of herself to a stranger on the internet. She had known Erica only online. She had never met her in real life. They had talked for a little bit, and she started sending pictures and videos of herself, inappropriate pictures. So she really is just completely full of shit.
If you guys are in that like intimate state, they're going to love how you look. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but fake confidence, because there has been so many situations where I've had to fake that confidence and then I just start to believe it. You have to trust your partner enough to know deep within that they find you beautiful. I know it's all easier said than done. Trust me. Been there, done that.
Hi, Amberlynn.
She acts like she's some fucking love guru. How's that working out for you, dumbass? How are your relationships going? I'm gonna start calling her CD, the common denominator.
I wanted to first apologize for what I've said a couple years ago. Honestly, it really wasn't me, and at that time, I had different beliefs in who I thought you were, but after continuously watching your videos, I now know that you are such a genuinely nice, kind, real person.
Who the fuck is this? Who has she been watching? If you watch Amberlynn for more than, a few weeks and you don't realize all the excuses that she makes and the narcissism and the just complete delusion that she has, then you might be a problem too. You're an idiot.
And you didn't mean anything that, you've done or said in the past. You've admitted to your mistakes. You've taken accountability. You've done everything you can. Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, the question that I have for you is, would you ever consider dating a fan again?
Okay, this has to be a troll. It has to be. Now I'm kind of on board because that was pretty good. There's no way that's a real question. I think saying that she's taking accountability and all that stuff. Okay, all right. Let's see what she says.
And I won't lie, I'm very interested.
Okay, was not expecting that. I just want to say thank you for the apology. I actually have a lot of people...
Oh my God, that's crazy. Thank you for the apology. Thank you for admitting that you finally realized how great I am, I forgive you. But no, that was a troll, 100%.
Who reach out to me and they apologize for like leaving hateful comments or being part of like hate forums about me and stuff like that. And it's like, I always am willing to accept an apology. So apology accepted.
Oh, okay.
The part about...
I was thinking she would say, I don't even know what comment it was. I just don't even pay attention to hateful comments.
Dating a fan, that's hectic. I'm not interested in talking to anyone in that way, like at all right now. I am flattered though. I do appreciate that. So thank you.
Even though that was a troll, I guarantee you Amberlynn was sliding into those DMs after she recorded this video.
Amberlynn, just wanted to ask you, why do you keep bringing up other people when they clearly asked you not to? Even multiple times.
I will keep listening to that in a second, but I have multiple times told quite a few people not to talk about me, and they continue to do so. If they can, I can. That's my answer.
I mean, it depends on who it is, right? If they're a public figure, then yeah, it's kind of fair game. And at this point, Beck is a public figure, but they weren't when they were asking Amberlynn to stop talking about them. She is a public figure. Anybody and everybody can talk about her, and they can say whatever they want about her because she puts herself on the internet. But if somebody is not a public figure and they ask you to stop, you need to stop.
It makes things worse, like way worse. Because no matter what you say, people won't believe you anyway.
No matter what you say, people won't believe you anyway.
So you just make the people that you're talking about angrier.
I don't care. I should be allowed to also use my voice. If they can use their voice, I can use mine as well.
And the whole drama surrounding the situation worse. So please stop doing that.
I'm not going to stop. I appreciate your voice message. I appreciate.
See, and the funny thing is, the way I'm reading that is they were trying to help. He's trying to help her by saying, listen, all you're doing is making yourself look worse. You're making them angry. Nobody's going to believe you anyway. It doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help them. It doesn't help you. It's not worth it. Stop. But she takes that as, you're trying to silence me. Her default state is victim.
Appreciate your opinion. I appreciate anyone's opinion, but never back down. If someone is harassing you, belittling you, spreading lies about you, talking about you, like this is a weird type of situation. Like
she acts like she's a righteous crusader to make sure that all the rights are wronged. But the problem is, no matter what you say about her, she will say it's a lie. She will turn it around and make you the bad guy. So it doesn't really work if your response to any criticism is they're lying, they're harassing, they're bullies, they're the manipulators, that kind of thing. And you play the victim. Not only does it make the person you're talking about angry, it makes everybody angry because we know what you're doing. We can see what you're doing. We can see the manipulation tactic and the Darvo.
Like, we're not meant to go through things like this. Like, publicly go through, like, horrific breakups for thousands and thousands and thousands to see. So already this is, like, a weird situation to be in. Like,
then don't put yourself on the internet. How does she not get that? Once you post it to the internet, it is fair game. You're the one putting yourself in that position. Nobody else is forcing you to put your breakups and your personal life and all of your mental health issues and all that on the internet. You do that. And once you do, you can't then bitch and moan and play victim because everybody talks about it. I mean, you do. And that's why people will keep talking about it, because you do freak out every time. You can't help yourself.
Whether it be on a small scale or a gigantic scale, never back down. Always use your voice. Always be strong. Always love yourself enough to be there for you when no one else would be. Period.
Yeah, she is Hero Lynn, you guys. So this is the bully at school who bullies everybody. Everybody sees her bullying everybody. And then when one kid finally steps up and, pushes back, that bully goes around saying, I'm not going to back down. This person is harassing me and bullying me, and I'm not going to take it. And you shouldn't take it either. The good news is most of the people in the school are like, shut the fuck up. We know what's going on here. And I got to be honest, this hits even harder after watching the Beck episode of Victims of an Empath. This is really infuriating because in that you see so many times where Amber was just so mean. And you could tell it's just part of who she is just being mean. She's a mean girl. And then to hear her act like she is such a victim and that she will never back down and she won't be silenced, it's disgusting.
So I thought maybe I would use this on voice message since you do read them on your videos. So I hope this isn't disrespectful or rude in any kind of way at all because I dearly love you, Amberlynn. Like, I've been in your members only chat. This is baby girl.
Oh my God! Wait! Baby girl, hi. That's actually someone from my members. Hello.
Yeah, that's what they said.
I relate to you on so many levels. It's like hecticana, girl. Totally.
Heyo? I don't know.
Anyways, I'm just curious, like, when you had your symptoms before you found out that you had cancer, did you have, like, extreme lower back pain on the right side and around into the pelvic region a little bit? And then, like, very irregular periods where, like, I get mine like maybe once a year, sometimes twice.
Are you asking Amberlynn Reed for medical advice? What the fuck is happening right now?
Twice. Like, I'm just curious because I'm really freaking out. I know I got to get to the gynecologist. I know you're not a doctor, and I just wanted to know if you suffered from those same symptoms.
They really are asking Amberlynn for advice. Here's some advice. Don't be like Amberlynn. Go to the gynecologist. Actually do something.
condoms, that's all. Anyways, love you, dear. I hope your mental health is doing well, and I do hope your cellulitis is better. Mwah.
Oh,
I don't think she has cellulitis. The more I thought about it, the more I was like, you know, I think she gained weight. I think she's been overeating and she wanted some excuse.
aw, thank you so much. And yes, please see a gyno, because I'm not a gyno, not a doctor. I just know based on my experiences, I did have lower back pain, yes. And before I bled for years straight.
I will give her, at least she said immediately. First thing she said was go see a gynecologist. So 1 point.
I did have very irregular periods like that. So irregular periods was always my normal. So that's why, like, yes, I was worried, but then I was like gaslit in like multiple different ways, thinking like maybe this is just part of my irregular period. But
She was gaslit. And this is the problem with Amberlynn, is either she's talking about Beck or she's talking about her audience. And Amber, that's what happens when you don't go see a fucking doctor and you rely on the audience or your girlfriend for medical advice. So no, you're not being gaslit. You're just giving people an opportunity to give you advice that you shouldn't be getting. The only advice you should have been getting was from the doctor.
definitely see a gyno, please. You'll be in my thoughts. I hope you're okay.
Thank you. I don't want to be like a opportunist, but like if you could say hello to my friend Christina Petkova. By the way, what I wanted to comment is, have you noticed, like, okay, so like I think you're like the prettiest girl ever, and have you noticed how?
I mean, there have been a few people tell her that she's, you know, beautiful or whatever, but the second guy to just come out and say, you are so beautiful or you're so cute or whatever, like, and you're telling me she doesn't go cherry pick these? Bullshit. Of course she does.
People like don't like to mention this or say it, or I don't know, they're not like brave enough, they're like afraid of like what society will think. But women that has like some extra weight, like bigger women, I'm not saying it's healthier or it's hotter or anything, but like just specifically talking about face, like the face card of like bigger women is just like so above everyone else.
What is happening? Okay, first of all, hello to your friend Christina, because you wanted me to shout her out. So hello, Christina. Thank you for the compliment. Yes, bigger girls are beautiful, and I appreciate that. My hair looks hecticana today, but doesn't take away from...
I don't even want to give her a heyo in this video. These Let's Talks just piss me off. You know? Some of these videos are fun to kind of make fun of, but the Let's Talks are a parade of delusion.
For my face card. And yeah, I agree. Like, bigger women are stunning. And I think a lot more people think that than you think.
I don't know, man. I think if that were the case, I think they'd be on the cover of more magazines, and I think they'd be far more common in like movies and stuff like that, because for a little while, they were really trying to push bigger girls. And when I say bigger, I mean like, you know, like obese girls or like way overweight girls. Like they're starting to use a little bit more normal body types in like magazines and movies and stuff like that. But, you know, when Tess Holliday did the cover of Cosmopolitan, it was kind of a big deal. And the fat acceptance movement and the, you know, body positivity people were sure that that was going to be the beginning of obese people being beautiful and considered just like normal or whatever. And that did not last. In fact, Tess is struggling to find work. She's a plus size model. I mean, she's an obese model. But yeah, all of the advertising companies and fashion companies and all that stuff, they really started pushing big girls in their magazines and stuff, and nobody liked it. Nobody wanted it. And so it stopped pretty quickly. And I think if more people than you think like bigger girls, I think you'd see more bigger girls in those situations. So don't get me wrong, there are some people that prefer bigger girls, but they're far more the exception than the rule.
Hey, as a long-time silent viewer of your content, I'm so curious about your personal mental health journey in relationship to food, and if you think you could get to a point in that mental health journey that you could start healing that relationship with food.
What are you talking about? Her mental health journey in relationship to food? There's been no journey. She just started loving and eating whatever she wants, and she stayed there. A journey implies that you've actually like made some changes. She has never made any changes, ever. Even when she does a diet, she does it for a few days and then goes right back to where she was before. And she has done that exact same cycle 5,000 times over and over again over the past decade or more. So there's never been a journey.
Because we've seen on your YouTube for years where you go through cycles where you start a weight loss journey and you do lose weight, but then something happens and you can't maintain it. And in my head, every time I see it happen, I'm like, well, it's a mental health thing. Like, it's not like she doesn't, the relationship with food isn't there. Like, you have.
Yeah, interesting how maybe if she got help, but she refuses to get help. She pretends like she's an expert. In her mind, she doesn't need help because she already knows everything. So even if it is a mental health thing, which I think that's probably part of it, I don't think she has an ED. I don't think it's caused by any kind of personality disorder or anything, but I think she's probably a food addict or something like that. Even if it is a mental health thing, that just means that she needs help. And she's nodding along like, yeah, it's a mental health thing. Like, then you should understand that you need help, right? You can't do it on your own. But the reason she's nodding along is because she's like, hell yeah, I got somebody to reinforce my theory that I can use my mental health as an excuse. Because that's all she does. She doesn't want solutions. She just wants excuses.
The drive to lose weight, but when something happens, like a switch goes off and the food's always there for you. And that's not necessarily wrong, but I'm just so curious if you think you get to a point where you could quote unquote fix that. So yeah, thanks.
She could, but she won't. She never will. Because again, her number one priority in life is eating the foods that she likes. Everything else comes second.
Thank you for the question. And it's true. It's definitely a mental health thing. It's definitely something up here. So that's why when so many people like judge me on like my cycle of diets and always turning to food and like all that stuff, like it's so weird to me because it's like, when does the mental health shaming stop? Because
when you stop posting it to the internet, you idiot. If you don't want people talking about it, stop posting it. That's the problem, right? It's not that you're doing it. It's that you're posting it. It's that you're showing everybody. And it's the mental gymnastics, the wild mental gymnastics that you pull to make sure that you can continue eating what you want. And I think people talk about it so much because it is fascinating the lengths you will go to continue eating. It's almost unbelievable. Like, we see it over and over and over again, but every time we see it, we're just like, this can't be real, because she absolutely bends over backwards, figuratively, obviously, to not be held accountable for anything. And it's not mental health shaming. In fact, most people are telling you you need help. Most people are trying to help you by saying, hey, maybe inpatient, maybe outpatient, maybe therapy, maybe something, because obviously what you're doing is not working, and it never has. And I got some news for you. It never will.
I do have that drive to lose weight. I want to lose weight so bad. And so many people like look at me from an outside perspective and they just see surface level and think, she loves being fat. She doesn't want to lose weight. Like, literally, no.
I don't think she loves being fat. I think she loves food. She loves food more than she wants to lose weight.
Oh, it's a constant battle that I'm trying to win, and I keep losing. And am I ever going to win? I don't know. I've done everything. Like, sometimes.
See, and there's the problem. That is the crux of the issue. She is convinced that she has tried so hard. She has tried everything, she says. But she's never actually tried. She's never wanted to try enough, right? She has tested some stuff, and she's sort of, fiddled around with this and I guess tried kinda, but she didn't really try. She's even given up on stuff that was working. That's how we know nothing's ever going to change, because even when something does work, she doesn't want to do it. The absolute bottom line is she doesn't understand that there's no finish line. She is convinced that there's some way to succeed in weight loss, and there's just not. You change your lifestyle and you stick with it for the rest of your life. There's no finish line.
I genuinely wish I did not have to eat at all, but you have to eat to survive. And I know there's a lot of fat phobic people out there who's like, you ain't got to eat. Look how fat you are.
No, I don't think anybody was going to say that. People are saying you don't have to eat that much, right? Yeah, you have to eat, but you don't have to eat a 20-piece nugget. And I said in one of my recent videos, I said, you would be surprised how little you need to eat to, not only survive, but, be healthy. We are conditioned to think we need a lot of food, right? But she will tell you that because she's bigger, she needs to eat more so that she'll get full, so that she won't be hungry and eat more.
Realistically, like, you have to eat.
Hey girl, I just wanted to ask a quick question. How hectic is a situation type deal type moment?
She really is a child. That was not that funny. I know comedy is subjective, but there is no situation in which that was that funny.
It's like the hecticana of the world. It's
Hecticana of the world. Very clever.
the most hectic.
Hey Amber, what's up queen? I hope you're doing well. My one question for you is, out of your entire YouTube career and all of the years that you've spent making videos, what is your biggest regret? What is the one thing that you wish you could take back?
That's actually a pretty good question. My first thought when Beck and Amber went to Pride, and Beck was so excited, right? Beck was just thrilled to finally go. They had been wearing their Pride gear or Pride shirt and stuff for the first time ever. It was the first time going out in public as themselves, right? And being proud of who they are. So they were so excited to go to Pride, and Amber ruined it by deciding that it was too hot and she didn't want to walk around. She was wearing the wrong shoes. So instead of going to Pride, they sat in the hotel and ordered Uber Eats the entire time. That's a pretty good one. You know, if you could take that back so that Beck could actually have a really wonderful experience, that'd be kind of cool. But something tells me it's not going to be anything like that.
Also, I'm your biggest fan. I love you, girl.
Oh, I love you. I feel like I always say this, but this is genuinely the truth. I want to take back everything that I said about...
Real quick before she gets to her bullshit. So I really wish that I could take each one of these people that love her so much and just show them a couple of videos showing some of the terrible things that Amber has done and just go, is this okay to you? I mean, it's almost like a cult type of thing, right? Where Amber has convinced them that everybody else is lying. I'm the only one that you can trust. So if you hear anything else, it's a lie. And for some reason, they believe her. They seem to just be in this bubble, right? This echo chamber.
Oh, I love you. I feel like I always say this, but this is genuinely the truth. I want to take back everything that I said about the relationship I was in as a teenager. I should have kept that shit to...
Now that's about Casey, right? Now remember, she said that Casey SA'd her, and this is the person that also said that harassment is assault. So we can't really trust when she says that anything like that happened. And then when she was called out on it, and when Casey said, no, that is not what happened, then she said, I used the wrong word.
RAPE, rain and petals, eavesdrop. I used the wrong word. Rain and petals, eavesdrop. I used the wrong word.
But lately she's been doubling down on it.
I want to take back everything that I said about the relationship I was in as a teenager. I should have kept that shit to myself, kept that shit just in my like close life, because like literally my mom was in my life during that time, and she's someone that heard what I was going through at that time. Like I would call her all the time. So she's someone that like had my back, and in a weird way, I shared it to feel less alone. And I also shared it because there are people who contact me and say that they're in relationships like that and they don't know how to get out.
Oh my God. Holy shit. The victim mentality and lying. Oh my God. What she is saying, in case you missed it, the one thing that she would take back if she could is talking about the relationship with Casey, but not because it was a lie, not because she could have ruined Casey's life, but because of the backlash, but because nobody believed her. Holy shit. First of all, it was a lie. She could have absolutely ruined Casey's life by posting that to the internet. This is seriously concerning.
And I wanted to feel less alone. I wanted these people to feel less alone. And in return, it actually just made things worse.
What a seriously horrible piece of shit.
Hi, Amber. Love you. I was wondering if you're afraid of any of your other exes coming out of the woodwork and spilling unknown tea. Thanks.
That was cute. And no, I'm definitely not afraid of that. I feel like there was room for improvement in all of the relationships I was in.
Hey, love. Just wanted to say...
I mean, I would love to know what Jade has to say. That would be so great, because you know there's some tea there. But I think there may have been like an NDA or something, because she's awfully smug about that, you know?
I admire your tenacity to keep on going, even after all the hate over the years. We know you love perfume, so if you could create your own, what would the name be, the scent, and also the bottle design?
Oh my God, first of all...
Who gives a shit? Oh my God. The hate. You're persevering through the hate. You're so strong. You're such a hero. I hate this, you guys. I'm almost to the point where if this Let's Talk stuff keeps going, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to cover it because this is pissing me off.
I'm obsessed with your accent. Like, can I have that, please? And that is such a good question. So I don't want to give...
Did you hear that? I'm obsessed with your accent. Can I have that, please? Now, she is known for taking other people's kind of personalities, right? Because she has none of her own. So she basically sponges personality from everybody else. Throughout the years, all these little quirks and stuff that her girlfriends and people that she has been around have done, she started doing it. And there's actually a few cases where she has just straight up copied other like YouTubers and stuff. But it's funny that that's the first thing she says about the accent. Can I have that, right? If you have something that she likes, she wants it.
Give away like my secrets, because you never know. Maybe one day I will be coming out with a perfume. Can you imagine?
No, she's too stupid to think of anything. So instead of actually trying to come up with a scent and a name and all that stuff, she just said, ooh, it could be a secret. I might be coming out with a perfume. If it doesn't smell like corner turds and fupa cheese, then it's not very accurate.
Hey Amber, I've been a long-time viewer and for Hater Nation. This is AI. Some people make being your fan so hard that I am just more comfortable using text-to-speech.
Amber talks about that a lot too, where Hater Nation makes it hard for people to be her fan, and so they might be scared to send in a voice memo. But how would we recognize their voice? We don't know who they are, right? Even if they sent their own voice in a voice memo, we don't know these people. So what a stupid thing to say.
A big question I have for you is, does filming your what I eat in a day videos help you stay on track and accountable? Or at times, does it feel more triggering, causing you to have your more planned food noise? Also, bitch, you are not crazy. The shit going on is weird as fuck and absolutely not okay.
That is the way Amber would talk. If she were speaking and she was just talking about that, like obviously it doesn't sound like her, but the words that they're saying sounds like something that she would say, like the way she would say it. So, I don't know, man. This is too ass kissy, even for Let's Talk.
I don't think you are a terrible person. I don't think you are a narcissist. And I don't think you are the problem every single time. Try and stay strong with your goals. Clearly their lives are too boring. Also, thank you for your approval. I've always asked questions, but have never been featured. It's my birthday this week on the 24th, and this is a super awesome present.
Oh my gosh, well...
No, that was sent by her. For sure, the fact that it talked about being triggered and her goals and their lives are clearly boring, that's something that Amber says all the time, right? Like I said, that's what bullies do when they get called out. So, no, this was sent by her, I'm guessing.
Happy freaking birthday, hello. And this person really is a supporter because 5 years ago they sent me a message. Holy crap. So what I ate today videos can sometimes be triggering, or they can sometimes actually help me stay on track. And you're right about the food noise, because I think about food more when I'm doing what I ate today videos, because I know that I have to film what I'm eating. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, like, am I gonna film myself cooking? Like, how do I wanna do that? Like, okay, I have to edit the video, I have to get it scheduled, so that means I have to eat maybe sooner than I normally would. Like, it is a lot of like thinking that day for sure. But it also helps me stay on track, because I don't want to like post a video where I'm like, well, fell off track today and I ate all of this and all of that, because I know the type of backlash, and plus I don't want to feel like ashamed.
So it's triggering and it helps you stay on track. This is a great example of her just saying random bullshit to make it sound like she knows what she's talking about, and it is just complete nonsense. It's triggering because I'm thinking about food all day, and then it helps me stay on track because if I don't stay on track, I'll be ashamed? I don't know. Again, it's just complete nonsense.
I know a lot of people think that I fake these like what I ate today videos. No, like everything that I eat, I always show in the video. All right, you guys, now it is time for tea or tail. And guess what? I chose one that's tea. Woo, girl.
I bet it's something really stupid. And the what I eat today, she's not showing the full amount, right? Whether she knows it or not. Because, you know, I've said this before, but that Secret Eaters show where people will write down what they thought they ate all day, and then somebody follows them around with a camera and shows them what they actually ate, and they're always like, oh, damn, I didn't realize I ate that much. So that could be a possibility, but she's definitely eating more than she's saying.
So tea or tail is literally just where I take rumors that are going around, floating around, and I tell you if it's tea or I tell you if it's tail. Amberlynn took the cheese hat picture in Wisconsin during Christmas and lied about meeting up with her cousins. Me and my mom stay laughing at this rumor because that is so fucking untrue. It's not even funny. And I'm gonna prove it to you. So people are comparing the outfit that I wore in Wisconsin and the outfit that I wore when I saw my cousins. You guys, I wear the same outfits a lot.
Yeah, we know that. I said that in the video that I made.
Like, I can't even tell you how many times I've worn this fucking dress. So the outfit that I wore in Wisconsin, I was wearing gold earrings that say baby girl. And the outfit that I was wearing here in Oklahoma are silver hoop earrings. The purse that I was wearing in Wisconsin was actually a gold studded clear purse. And the purse that I was wearing here in Oklahoma with my cousins was a silver and black Rebecca Minkoff purse. My hair in Wisconsin was parted to the...
None of these pictures matter because you can't prove where any of them are. So this doesn't prove, this is just 2 pictures of her wearing the same outfit. This could have been from anywhere and any time.
My hair in Wisconsin was parted to the side, but my hair here in Oklahoma was parted right through the middle.
Because she was wearing a hat in that picture, but still, like, how do we know who are, what? It's so funny that she thinks this proves anything. She could have just easily taken 2 pictures from any point in her life. In fact, probably what she did was go through her phone and find pictures of her wearing that outfit and just go, yeah, these 2 will work.
In Wisconsin, my winged eyeliner was shorter than my winged eyeliner here visiting my cousins in Oklahoma.
Again, this is not the cheese hat picture, right? This doesn't prove anything because where is this? Where are these pictures taken? She doesn't get it, right? All it's going to do is raise more questions, and I'm loving this because it's so stupid. And the fact that she is so butthurt by people saying that she's lying, I'm loving this. This is so fun.
The chain on my purse in Wisconsin is gold. The chain on my purse here in Oklahoma when I was visiting my cousins is silver.
Look how mad she is.
While I'm visiting my cousins, you can see the reflection, and my mom is in that mirror.
Yeah, that was kind of the problem, right? Is we all knew that your mom took you to Wisconsin. So the fact that your mom is there doesn't mean anything.
I went to Wisconsin in September where my mom dropped me off at night, and it was the next morning when she left because she had to go back home for work. So if this was quote unquote taken during Christmas, my mom would not have been there. My mom was in Wisconsin for a total of like 8 hours, and that was just to drop me off. And those hands that you see in the reflection are not Tommy's hands. Those are my cousin's hands.
And those sleeves that you see? Yeah, those are my cousins and the outfit that she's wearing.
But okay, pop off, I guess. Amberlynn lied about the fire.
Yeah, okay, pop off. No, we're going to keep going because this is fun, you know? And all that does is raise more questions. But the fact that she takes it so seriously, I'm here for it. Amberlynn lied about the fires being close to her just to get sympathy. She has been watching my videos because when she was talking about the wildfires, she said that she was afraid she was going to have to evacuate and all that stuff. I looked up a map of where the wildfires are, and I didn't see any on, you know, I looked at a few maps online. I didn't see any that were real close to Oklahoma City. And again, it was just kind of speculation that she just heard that there were wildfires in Oklahoma, and she decided, yeah, I could probably use that.
Fires being close to her just to get sympathy. So the fact that this is still even a rumor and this happened a month ago is also...
I don't hear anybody talking about it. Have you heard anybody talking about it? I literally mentioned, and again, and I'm not saying that she is taking this rumor from me, but I mentioned it for a second in that video. I just said, by the way, seems a little weird because the wildfires are not really in that area. So I don't know. It seems like it could be a lie. And then I moved on. And then I never mentioned it again. I don't remember hearing anybody talking about it. In fact, in that video, most of my comments had nothing to do with that. Nobody really seemed all that interested in that part of it. So I don't think it's still a rumor. She just likes to act like people are crazy, you know?
So wild, off the chain crazy. So I live in Oklahoma City. So here are some screenshots from that very day that are actually from the fire department, and also a picture of the sky of how it looked that day when I literally was vlogging and I was telling you guys, it's so smoky, it's literally orange outside. Everyone's like, you're lying. And the fact that like this rumor is still happening is so weird to me.
I know this is going to fall on deaf ears, but most of these rumors are created by reaction channels. They lie to you. They just want views. So they spread shit about me, and they're not reliable narrators in my life.
Ooh, shots fired. No, I just think this is so stupid. She takes this stuff so seriously, and I still don't think there was really anybody talking about this. So she really is just completely and utterly obsessed with what reaction channels are talking about.
Amberlynn is back to vaping Delta 8 again. Yes, I vape about once or twice a week, so that is some tea. So I'm editing and I realized I didn't...
See, that's the tea, right? Is she's vaping Delta 8. First of all, who gives a shit? And that's all she's doing is hurting herself, right? She gets the munchies when she vapes Delta 8.
I didn't do the bad choice question, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just doing this because I feel like I have to. Since I do it in every video, I could have just like totally passed it, but it's fine.
Have you ever had more than 15 drinks in one night? That is a big no. Have you ever had sex with a coworker? Yes. Would you let your partner have...
What? I mean, I guess she worked with Destiny, but that has to be what she's talking about because she's only had like one job, right?
Would you let your partner have sex with their celebrity crush without consequences? No. Have you ever dined and dashed? Absolutely not. Have you ever accidentally texted someone on purpose? Yes, I have.
All right, you guys, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, of course she has. She doesn't leave people alone. Once she gets an idea in her head that she wants to talk to somebody, she will bug them until they either tell her to stop or block her or whatever. So yeah, of course she did. And she will blame it on her BPD, but she's really just an annoying, immature prick.
All right, you guys, I'm gonna go. I'm about to go hang out with my mom and have a really good day today. So I hope that you guys also have one. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Got her. I think it's funny that she always blows things out of proportion. Like the Wildfire thing was such a small topic of conversation, if it ever was at all, you know. Yeah, these Let's Talk videos are really frustrating because it is fueling her narcissism. It's fueling her main character syndrome. And it's just making her worse and worse, and her delusions are getting stronger and stronger. And I think part of that is that she doesn't have a caretaker or anybody like sitting there with her to maybe talk some sense into her or to maybe bring her down to earth a little bit, you know, by actually like having a conversation with her. She just sees herself as this celebrity online, and she gets these messages because, like I said at the beginning, the whole point of the Let's Talk videos, and I guess the point of all of her videos, but these especially, is to inflate her ego and let her play the victim. And that's what she did this entire time, man. She will never really take accountability for anything because she lives in a constant state of victimhood, you know? Anyway, I appreciate you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.